Hey folks, it's Michael from michaeljohnadams.com, and in this lesson we're going to be looking at Gunman, a Them Crooked Vultures song. Now this has got a cool John Paul Jones bass line, and I think it's really worth checking out. But a few things you need to know about this bass line. That John Paul Jones plays it on an 8-string bass, which is a lot like a 12-string guitar, in that it's got like unisons and octave strings. I don't have an 8-string bass, so I can't play it on one. Maybe you do. And he also plays it in drop D, and he plays it with a pick. Now, if you've got a 5-string bass, you could probably play it and just keep it in standard tuning. It's kind of tricky. It doesn't really fit your hand very well. You have to move around quite a bit. But it is doable. You can just put in a little bit of time practicing it and you can get it. But for the rest of us, or the people with 4 strings, I'm going to go ahead and show the song in drop D, which is how he plays it live. And it's really easy to get to drop D. What I like to do is, I'm in standard tuning right now, is play a couple harmonics. You could pretty much play them wherever. The point is just to get the 2 pitches to be the same. And what I like to do is go just a little flat and then really loosen the string and then tune up to the right pitch. And there, yeah, we're in drop D. Painless. And what else? Oh, he plays with a pick. Now, I think John Paul Jones plays with a pick because, well, he plays the 8-string bass, and I've never played one, so maybe playing with a pick makes sense for that. But it turns this from a groove kind of line into a real sort of in-your-face rock line. So it's something to think about. Now with my main setup, I've got an amp peg and some bass drivers and fancy things like that. I can sort of get that sound with my fingers, that driving sound. But with this little guy, there's a huge difference between fingers and picks. So maybe with your setup, you can get that driving sound with your fingers. But yeah, whether you want to play with your fingers or with your pick or fingers is up to you. You just really want to get that rock sound. I think that's what this part needs to turn it from like that disco-y kind of feel into a driving song. But yeah, okay, let's check out the intro section in the next video. Okay, so in the intro here, John Paul Jones plays a cool little figure. Now I think he's doing some 8-string bass kind of trickery. I can't quite emulate the sound he's getting. I think it's because the 8-string bass has those unison strings. I think he's maybe picking one string and then he's picking another one, kind of getting the sound like that. But these are the notes he's playing regardless. Oh, and on my blog I've got tabs and transcriptions and whatnot. You can check it out there. But let me play this part to you with the click, so you kind of get an idea of where things lie. I'm playing it quite a bit slower than the recording. 2, 3, 4. And then we're into the song. So it's actually, there's 6 beats kind of before the main groove comes in. Let's check that out again. 2, 3, 4. And then we're in. So pretty simple, but pretty cool. All right, next we're going to check out the verse grooves and I guess the main groove of the song. Okay, so for these the verse grooves, John Paul Jones he puts some variation in, but from what I hear, about 90% of the time, or most of the time, I guess I should say, he's playing this pattern here. So what am I doing there? It's kind of, it has the feel of pedaling the low D. So as far as what notes to pick goes, he's picking these here, and then he throws in this hammer on. It sounds like a hammer on to me. And then picking the low D, and then this pattern right here. To me, it sounds like he's picking each note. But you could just as easily do hammer-ons there, and you'd be okay. Yeah, whichever you prefer. Now, one of the main variations that he seems to throw in is actually really simple. It's the same exact thing, except instead of, well, let me just play it for you. You'll hear that in there a few times. And he throws some other stuff in there, but actually in my transcription I went through and kind of bar by bar and sort of picked out what I hear him doing. So if you really want to learn everything that he's doing, you could check that out, or even better, put on headphones and try to figure it out yourself. It's pretty tricky because of his sound. And also it's kind of buried behind the guitars a bit, so it's kind of tough to hear exactly what he's doing. But if you just play, you'll be okay as the main groove there. Okay, let's check out the choruses next.